had some. This year against Dallas, the Blackhawks' Jeremy Roenick took a knee, injured, and out for the season. This injury against JR has simply intensified a ferocious rivalry. Dallas and Chicago go at it again tonight. Delighted to have you with us on National Hockey Night, the new home of the Chicago Blackhawks. And folks, it is a beauty as you take a look inside at the United Center. The Dallas Stars are here tonight in one of the game's real good black and blue rivalries.
They have had a terrible time scoring. This is a scoring star in the Quebec Junior League.
National Hockey League history, the Eagle, Eddie Belfour, starts tonight. Hockey Night is now for hockey in Chicago, the new United Center. Full house on hand here tonight, and we are ready to go as the Blackhawks and the Dallas Stars meet for the final time during the regular season, at least this year. Sutter's up to take the face-off for the Chicago Blackhawks against Gagne. Blackhawks, of course, in their familiar traditional home white black pants and that big, beautiful Native American on the front. The Dallas Stars in that black and white road. This will be an icing call. We're underway, and a little surprise in net for the Stars, Bill.
Well, kind of, since Mike Torchia allowed 6 goals in 2.5 periods 2 nights ago in Dallas. They lost 8-4 to St. Louis, but his first NHL game was a win on the 2nd of April right here at the United Center. He beat the Hawks 2-1, so in that sense, perhaps not as big a surprise.
And at the other end, the man we told you about, Eddie Belfour, his 11th consecutive start this year, 1-2 against Dallas this season, 17-7-1. Lifetime against the Dallas Stars for Belfour.
His record does not show how he has played this season, especially during their 0-10-3 slump that they just got out of.
Dave Gagne is out with a line that's hot right now. Mike Kennedy working on one side. Paul Broughton will share some time on this line with him on the other. Off the face-off, it is kicked away in behind the net. Chris Chelios will take about 35 minutes of ice time in about every game the Chicago Blackhawks play. Gagne moving in, lost it, intercepted and taken behind the net. Chicago's Gary Suter. Suter got it up the boards, north out. Gagne was able to tip it away, still doing battle on the near side. Harvey moved over, got the stick in on it, rolled out the center, and there's the rookie, Eric Garza, wearing 55 in white, his first game, and he starts for the Blackhawks.
And he turned one over in the neutral zone there. He got a little happy with the puck and tried a long pass
that may happen once in a while tonight for the 19-year-old.
No question. You talk about a team that struggled. The worst streaks this year, Ottawa, the worst, Chicago, right behind them. Edmonton in number 3 spot. Al Morganti.
Well, when you have a streak like that, everybody tries to help out, and the maintenance staff here came up with a kind of a doll. He's named Joe Boo after the movie character, and here he is here with the helmet, the hair growing right up out of the helmet. I'm partial to that in real life.
Wow.
That cigarette I thought was left over from Al Iafrady's days here, but it actually had the filter on it, so I guess not.
Al, that was your hairdo.
It was. It's a chia pet type thing.
Yeah, that's you after you go on one of those motorcycle rides is what that is. Gerald Diddick cleared it around the boards, not out. 2 forecheckers moving in here for Dallas, and they've been controlling the zone in the first minute of the game here by holding it in. Patrick Poulin got it out. Bernie Nichols dropped it off. Poulin moves the other way. Poulin drops it, of course, for most of this season. Bernie Nichols is having a great year. Had Jeremy Roenick with him. Without him, the opposition's been able to key on him, and that has held him down. Nichols dropped it back. Poulin ran to the near side. Joe Murphy's out there on this line now with Poulin and Nichols. Back in by Smith to Poulin, who dumps.
Tell you who else is out there. Shane Churla is out on the right side, his first shift in 5 games. And the guy that he's out there against on the left defense is Steve Smith, the guy that he had the big fight with in that brawl.
Evan Hatcher cleared it around. Greg Adams cleared it out of the zone. There is Smith coming back to get it in his own end. It'll be brought up by Steve Smith. 641st game for that veteran. Left in behind the net by Torchia. You see the banging going on early. Intercepted. Torchia makes the save. Great scoring opportunity for Dennis Savard. Savard, of course, brought back from Florida, Tampa Bay, actually, with the injury to JR. Shot on, deflected wide. Tony Amati, not a good shot. He had a great chance. and didn't get it close. Darian Hatcher comes away with it to his brother Kevin, and you can hear the fans. They know what's going on in this game. They know the potential for the fisticuffs here, and they're ready for it.
They just don't know when it's going to happen.
Just a question of when. Eric Weinrich cleared it up too far ahead on the near side boards. Chased in behind the net, touched up by Smolik, and that will be an icing call. The Spinorama man is back home.
Yeah, and he was happy to get back here as well. He played in Tampa Bay for the last year and a half after going there from Montreal. And you know, with Jeremy Roenick going down, if Denis Savard can pick up any of the slack, even at this stage of the season, big bonus. Here's that save by Mike Torchia. Savard with a spin around shot. Look how deep in his net he is. Mike Torchia, when the play is straight away in front of him, will play very deep in his net. He got beat on one of those long shots because he was way back in his net 2 nights ago in Dallas.
Only his 4th start for Torchia, the 23-year-old called up from Kalamazoo. His 6th game. Bob Gainey putting him in tonight. The thing by starting him tonight is that Darcy Wakaluk, the backup goaltender, is kind of put again on the shelf as far as the playoffs are concerned, maybe, because it sure looks like Bob Gainey's right now thinking about putting the youngster Mike Torchia as the backup for Andy Moog. Moog is traveling with the team. He's got a hamstring pull, and Bob said before the game, we're going to play very careful. Where did that hit? I think that hit the post as the rebound came in front to Jim Cummins. Torchia thought the puck had gone by him on the left. Instead, it ricocheted back into the slot. Shot deflected in on goal, knocked away by Hatcher. Never ended up on net on the shot by Chelios. Trent Klatt comes the other way. Klatt, Corey Millen out there with him. This line has been red hot. There's Donnelly. Drops it back on the far side. Millen, Donnelly, and Klatt. Klatt tried to tip it in. Chelios had it. Suter knocks it away to the boards. Battle on the far side. Trent Klatt over there along with Chris Chelios. Couldn't get it out. Corey Millen just ripped it wide on the glove side of Eddie Belfour. Hatcher holds it in. Blackhawks having trouble again getting out of the zone. Donnelly intercepted up for Hatcher. Kevin Hatcher back down low to Donnelly. Lets it go. On the far side, the rookie, Todd Harvey. Harvey gets pinned up by Jeff Shantz, and down they go. Reaching in, poking it away, Dean Evison. Lines in the middle of a change here. Centering pass, Hatcher moved in, the D wraparound. Score! Eddie Belfour lost sight of it, and Kevin Hatcher will get the goal.
Wow, the Chicago Blackhawks may not be ready for Kevin Hatcher in this game. Bob Gainey has taken the leash off of Kevin Hatcher. Before Mike Modano went down for the Dallas Stars, Kevin Hatcher was not allowed to pinch in like this. Tuesday night, he got 2 goals, pinching in just like this. He came out of nowhere. The Hawks thought they had a 2-on-2 down low, enter the 3rd guy. And you know, Krivo Krasov, 25 for the Hawks, did a good job of pushing him wide. But when Hatcher came around, Eddie Belfour couldn't get there. Look, no traction.
Since they've let him go, he has now picked up in 6 games 3 goals and 2 assists. A scoring streak for Kevin Hatcher. And it is a 1-0 lead for the Stars on the wraparound shot by the big defenseman. And you saw the big smile on Hatcher's face. He loves to play offensive hockey, and he's mighty happy to be back doing it. That one deflects into the benches. Goal comes at 3:41. Mike Donnelly and Corey Millen get the assist, but there's the man, Kevin Hatcher, who picks up his 10th goal of the season right off Eddie Belfour. Playoff start right here on ESPN a week from Saturday, May 6th. National Hockey Night begins the Stanley Cup playoff. Score! Chelios got it in front. Denis Savard, the goal.
What a play by Chris Chelios. Man, Denis Savard just had to slam that one home. Mike Torchia could not even react. And this is why the people of Chicago think that Chris Chelios can win the Norris Trophy as the top defenseman. He faked the slap shot, kind of froze everybody. But look, everybody pulled away from Savard. 2 Dallas Stars went over to Chelios, and that left Savard all alone. And then the guys, they were traded for one another. That's how Denis Savard left Chicago, was when he went to Montreal for Chelios. They hugged behind the net.
Down low, Torchia there, one save, score! Tony Amati!
get it revved up here at Chicago and you're the opposition, man, you got a problem. Mike Torchia could not smother this one. He never does bring his glove hand down. I think he was waiting for some of the big oak trees that he's got defending him in front as defenseman to move Amante. Bob Gainey can't like this goal. It's Amante's 100th, and Bob Gainey will not like this goal because Amante was allowed to stand there and take 3 whacks at it. That's not Bob Gainey hockey.
Back-to-back goals by Savard and Tony Amante. And the Blackhawks take a 2-1 lead. Torchia, we did the game in Dallas, St. Louis on Tuesday. St. Louis won it 8-4. And Torchia had a very bad third period. Now he's starting out in this game, giving up that goal, which really should have been covered. It'll be sent in by Suter, and the Blackhawks are swarming. Icing call coming up here. Eddie Belfour lets it go. Chelios coming back. 6:48. Savard scored. 7 minutes. Amante scored. Chicago leads. Fasten your seatbelt. The Blackhawks have the 2-1 lead after falling behind 1-0. Our Bud Ice scoreboard, the other games going on in the National Hockey League. Here's Volek, shot, save made. Belfour, rebound flipped away, and Murray Craven for Chicago. 3-on-2 for the moment. 3-on-3. Craven saved. Torchia, rebound, turnaround, out of the zone. Tried to drop it back to the line. Gerald did it. Nobody there. Bernie Nichols will have to play it back.
Craven's got his skating legs now. He was a slow starter. He's only played a dozen games, had back problems. Did he ever take off on that? What a super save by Mike Torchia.
For Craven, 3 goals and an assist in the 12 games that he has played with the Chicago Blackhawks this year. Back for it. Again, loads of trouble for Chicago in their own end. They do get it out to center. Rookie. Riva Kravtsov following Amante. Amante had it poke checked away. Volek got it out, dropped to Churla. Churla looking as the Stars are changing. And Chicago, they'll make changes behind the play as well. Brought back up near side. Chance in the corner. Riva Kravtsov back up. Looking to set up Kriva Kravtsov in front if they can here. There's Kriva Kravtsov down low. Penalty coming. Delayed call against Dallas. Extra skater for Chicago. Kriva Kravtsov got it in. Had it blocked. Chicago's got the extra skater. Cummins drops it back to it. In the middle. Shot deflected by Shands high. Chelios steps up. Pulls it away. Here's the shot point. Torchia makes the save. Jeff Shands had it. Back up near side Suter. Gary Suter sends it in. Looking down low. Shands trying to find somebody in the middle. Cummins is there. Cummins drops it. Long delayed call. Cummins shot blocked.
No stick for Peter Zezel. He had one, but he gave it to Hatcher, who had lost his.
Suter back to Chelios. Here's the shot. Suter saved. Torchia, finally they'll get the whistle. One of the longest delayed whistles you'll ever see.
And mostly because Kevin Hatcher did not have his stick. Some good saves, though, by Mike Torchia. This is one of them on Murray Craven. Man. Sorry about that. We got so many monitors here. I'm looking at what I think everybody else is looking at. Take my word for it. Torchia made a couple of dandies. Okay. Well, everybody else is going to get a chance to see what we're looking at. That's the Craven shot, and Torchia has got tremendous reflexes. His coach, Ken Hitchcock, who coached him most of the year in Kalamazoo, said if he was a forward, he would be classified as a skill guy. I mean, his skill level is that good.
There's Matvichuk, and he goes for elbowing at 18:29, and the Chicago Blackhawks will get the power play opportunity. There you see Chicago's power play improved from 19th last year to number 2 this year. Chris Chelios a key on that, working from the point to get the shots. Chelios has got a good hard shot, more importantly a good setup man on the power play. Bernie Nichols will be out there against Dean Evison on the draw if they can get it down. Dan McCourt trying to move people around. Good face-off win by Nichols. That's a tough one. Suter and Chelios along the line. They'll set up in front of the net with Dennis Savard working in the low slot. And he's battling Kevin Hatcher down there. Batted away and out of the zone. Chicago will have to get back onside. Suter drops it off for Chelios. Torchia tried to get it and could not. Runs up the near side boards. Hit with a high stick. And the face-off will come the other way, all the way down, an intentional high stick.
I think it was Bernie Nichols that got his stick up and nicked it. A lot of pressure on Bernie Nichols, but he now understands how tough it was for Jeremy Roenick here, being the only really top offensive producer down the middle that the Blackhawks had for the last 4 or 5 years. Bernie Nichols arrived and took a lot of the heat off JR, and then JR went down. And this is what happened to Bernie Nichols. The 33 games that Jeremy Roenick was in the lineup as another center. 22 goals, 21 assists for Nichols. In the 11 games without JR, no goals and 3 assists. There's Jeremy Roenick taking this one in. There is a chance he will be back in the playoffs should the Blackhawks last that long.
And if she stays there, he may not come back ever. Face-off will coming to the left of Eddie Belfour.
Well, I mean, I think she's looking for a response there, and JR wasn't giving her one.
Back for Chelios. The Hawks leading 2-1. 1 minute left to go in the period. Zezel had dug it out. Savard gets it, though. Minute 24 left to go on the power play for Chicago. They're leading by 1. Murphy was up ice. Murphy chases it down. Drops it behind the net to Zezel. Zezel had it blocked. Nichols able to hold it into Murphy. Up for Chelios. Chelios waits. Gets Murphy freed up. We're looking at the time remaining in the power play, but less than that in the period. 34 seconds left in the period. Savard. Suter. There's Chelios. Back to Suter. Room. Shot. Deflected. Spun around. Nichols shot. Covered up in the pile by Torchia.
Wow. That shot from Gary Suter deflected 3 different times on the way to the net, and Mike Torchia still got a piece of it. And then in the scramble, was able to squash it. Here's the Suter shot. Hit a stick out there, then it hit something there, and then it went off Joe Murphy, number 17, right to Torchia. Watch Brent Gilchrist, number 41 for the Stars, come into your picture here. First of all, Kevin Hatcher clears one out. Gilchrist, 41. Now they're clearing people out now. Remember, the Blackhawks got those 2 goals. I said the second one, nobody was touching anybody in front. Well, the penalty killers are now for Dallas.
Gary Suter, the 86 Calder Cup Rookie of the Year, and this season 8th among defensemen in scoring. Wearing number 20, stays out there in the power play. Amati gets it back. 18 seconds left in the period. That's the time in the period you see running off right there. Suter back for Chelios. Chelios dumps it. Craven! Save made by Torchia again. Cleared up and out of the zone. Torchia with some huge saves on this Chicago power play. They will have 28 seconds of the power play remaining to start the second period. Hatcher scored first at 3:41. Savard and Tony Amati, 2 goals within 12 seconds of one another. Chicago leads it after 1-2-1. John and Mike.
All right, Gary and Bill, thanks a lot.
If you want to order some food here, I picked up a menu for you, Bill, along with the price list here at United Center for the club and courthouse seating here. Chicken fingers are $6.50. You do get a half dozen. If you order a 12-pack of adult beverage, 6-pack costs you $24.
That sounds fair.
That's fair. That's fair enough. Hot dogs, $3.50. Hamburgers, $3.50. Chicken breast sandwich, $3.75. $5.75 with fries, pickles, and coleslaw.
I like it.
That's not too bad.
You got change for $1 million?
Bob Gainey, the Dallas Stars, that close to being officially in the playoffs. A victory here or a loss by a couple of other teams battling with them, and they're in. They're going to make it, but boy, you still want to be able to say
they may have,
we're in.
They may affect San Jose season because Dallas's last game in this 3-game road trip is at San Jose.
We're in the last week of the season, of course, with the playoffs starting right here on the 6th. Matt Tkachuk is in the box with the elbowing at 18:29. 28 seconds remaining on the power play chance for the Blackhawks. And we're underway in the second. Joe Murphy, power play. Chicago scores! On the glove side!
is a carbon copy of the goal that Steve Duchesne of the St. Louis Blues scored on Mike Torchia 2 nights ago in Dallas. Look at Murphy. He had Savard to pass to, but it was just a quick wrist shot. You know, it was quick, but he telegraphed it. He took a big windup on this wrist shot. Beat Torchia low to the glove side. Same place he was beaten 2 nights ago from far out.
Called a bad goal in the NHL. You got to make that save when nobody's between you and the blue line shooter.
Yep, you do.
So a tough start for Torchia. A couple of his teammates came back, gave him the pad on the pads. But that's a power play goal, and the Blackhawks extend their lead to 3-1. Murphy picking up his 22nd of the year and his 7th power play goal. Joe Murphy has now tied Bernie Nichols for the lead in goals on this team with 22. Blackhawks will start from behind their own net. That was one of those that was in the net before they even had time to sit down and take a look, see what was going on. 5 seconds into the second period, and Chicago had one. Knocked away by Eddie Belfour, and the shot from the side by Mike Kennedy. Kennedy tried to get it back to the point. Sutter intercepts. 3-on-2 the other way. Chelios, Dirk Graham, and Sutter. Chelios, the shot. Deflected wide. Sutter. Sutter back for the rebound. Riva Kravtsov at the point. Will send it deep. Sutter's back there. Intercepted. And Todd Harvey trying to get it out of there. Sutter took it away. Chicago able to hold it in. Dallas, of course, even strength now. Shot wide on the glove side. Steve Smith rifled that one in. And it really looks like Chicago wants to gun it in on Torchia, the rookie netminder. Shot saved by Eddie Belfour at the other end. Todd Harvey, the rookie, came down all alone on the right wing side. Riva Kravtsov starts the other way. Riva Kravtsov by Dean Evason, sent it ahead. Shane Churla tried to line him up and missed it. Back in the corner, a penalty coming up here. It's going to be an elbowing call, and now Churla goes after Didick.
I think the penalty's on Churla. I'm not sure it's an elbow, Gary. I think it might have been a trip because Krivo Kravtsov looked like he bent knees. It's either a trip or a kneeing call on Churla. He pinched up into the neutral zone and took a run at Krivo Kravtsov.
Yeah, it's a kneeing call's the indication initially from Don Koharski. You don't see many of those. So Shane Churla, and then after the whistle, Churla went after Didick.
Well, sensitivity to the kneeing thing here in Chicago, because that is what happened to Jeremy Roenick when big Darian Hatcher locked knees with him. So there's a real sensitivity, really, especially in the crowd here, to kneeing calls at the United Center in Chicago. There's Darian Hatcher, the guy that took Jeremy Roenick out. All the players that I talked to, and it was my opinion too, it wasn't an attempt to hurt him. It just locked knees. He was just trying to get a piece of him.
Initial call indication was kneeing. They are going to call it tripping, as he changed it when he got over to the box. So the power play underway here. America's most wanted. Well, that's the way these two teams play against each other, so why shouldn't the fans feel the same way? The Blackhawks scoring on the power play to start this second period, get their second chance here. Chicago now 3 for 26 against Dallas this season on the power play. These two teams going at it for the 5th time, and Dallas has won 3 of the first 4 games. But in this one, Chicago's got the 3-1 lead. Didick backed it up. Craven will start it up ice. Chicago Blackhawks on the power play have been led this season by Bernie Nichols' 11 power play goals, and then Murphy, who has now picked up 7 as he got the one tonight. Dropped off. Poulat dropping it in front, fanned on twice. Both Smith and Amandi fanned on the shot. Donnelly short-handed. Donnelly shot Eddie Belfour. The save. Hatcher reached in. They won't like that.
Big Darian Hatcher's in the middle of this one. Oh, man, that's Didick that's giving him the right hand of the nose. This one has the makings, folks. Big people out there, Smith and Didick. And the main tough guys for both teams, Shane Churla, Jim Cummins, Chicago, they're not out there. Maybe they'll get this thing settled before it gets out of hand.
Darian Hatcher reached in well after Eddie Belfour had made that save and tried to bat it free. And you just don't do that, of course, against an NHL goaltender without his teammates coming to answer.
Yeah, Smith and Darian Hatcher came together. It was an interesting play when that rush came up the ice. And I think this is why Smith went to him. All right, watch this. We'll let this roll, and the play backfires for Chicago here. All right, Smith fanned on it, and away they go. But stop it right here for a second, guys. Watch what Darian Hatcher does here coming back. Smith is kind of hooking Gilchrist. Boom! He slashed Steve Smith to try to unhook Gilchrist, and I think that's why Smith went after him.
There was no initial call on that one as Stojan Koharski followed the play up ice. Now there is going to be at least one penalty, and we'll see as they're announced how many.
There was a pretty good save at the end of this Dallas rush. Mike Donnelly took it wide and then ripped one on Eddie Belfour that he was able to hang on to. That's the other reason that they went after Darian Hatcher. You saw him take a poke at Eddie Belfour. See what I said about Smith and Diddick? Big guys, tough, strong. And Darian Hatcher had his hands full. Man, that's the beef. That's the beef of the lineup right there.
Numerous penalties here. Diddick is going to pick up one for roughing, and I think there's going to be a double minor on Dallas because they have an extra penalty up there against Dallas. There was a kneeing call on somebody. Well, I'll tell you, they got to get this PA situation in Chicago straightened out. They don't announce the scratches at the start of the game for the visiting team. They announce penalties in the oddest way I've ever seen. They go one at a time. If a guy picks up a double minor, they don't announce them together. They separate it, one at the top, one at the bottom, and that's why it's very hard to tell what the calls are here. But it's a two-man advantage for Chicago.
Yep. Churla still has 1 minute and 4 seconds to go in his trip, and Darian Hatcher is off on the roughing call.
And Peter Zezel and Bernie Nichols on the face-off. We've got a 4-on-3.
Now 5.
5-on-3. There
Murphy
we go.
was hiding.
Joe Murphy was up ice. So a two-man advantage for Chicago for potentially just under a minute. Bernie Nichols at the top. They'll get it down as low as they can here. Nichols, the shot. Tried to get it in for a tip that time. Chelios able to hold it. Down low they had Savard trying to send it through the middle. Joe Murphy banging away, and he gets decked by Zezel.
That's a pretty good save by Mike Torchia, because Joe Murphy, after a couple of whacks, I think knocked this one out of midair, and Torchia had to pick it up real quick with his glove. He's got great quickness for a guy his size. He is just under just under 230 pounds. Mike Torchia has fought a weight problem all 3 years of his professional career, but this year he's taken it seriously, really working at it, and his endurance is up. That's one of the reasons the Stars called him up from Kalamazoo.
He's looking up to see the time remaining in these penalties. 30 seconds on the first one, 1:26 on the second. Two-man advantage continues for Chicago.
Is there any goalie that's close to Mike Torchia weight-wise in the NHL? I don't think so. He's just under 230.
I don't think so.
Now a couple of 205s, 210s, maybe 212. Tommy Barrasso, Big Jim Carey in Washington, but nobody's 225.
Grant Fuhr in the offseason, Randy says. Taken on the near side by Suter. That's good, Randy. Shot, save. Torchia look behind him, and the second one he catches in the glove. Torchia with a couple of saves there. The first one kicked out, the second one in the glove with Savard on the rebound.
Well, Mike Torchia has recovered pretty well after letting that long one in, and you wonder if Bob Gainey's going to pull the trigger and yank him and put this guy in. Darcy Wakaluk. Wakaluk was angry this morning. He wanted to start. He thought he was going to get the start. But Darcy Wakaluk's season, according to his coach, kind of went south recently, and there's just no explaining it to Bob Gainey. His coach, Wakaluk's coach, Bob Gainey, said, I don't know how to soften this up, but this season has really unraveled on him. Well, that's pretty strong. So when a coach is willing to go on record saying that, you know he's lost confidence in you.
Andy Moog has played 30 games for them. Darcy Wakaluk 14. Mike Torchia is playing in his 6th, and the other rookie, Fernandez, played in 1. So Wakaluk may not get to play again if that holds true from Gainey. Still a two-man advantage for 10 seconds. Again, Nichols over. Suter scores!
Wow, what a shot by Gary Suter. Well, Mike Torchia would have to weigh 2,000 pounds to stop this one, as there ain't no 200-pounder alive that would have stopped it. What a laser from Gary Suter. His partner, I mean, you couldn't even see that. I couldn't even see this slow-mo. Well, Torchia is lucky that didn't hit him. It probably would have broken him in two. What a blast from Gary Suter.
Power play goal. Gary Suter, 8th among defensemen in scoring. And it is Chicago on the attack. Another power play goal for them. They still have a power play here. That was scored with a 2-man advantage. They continue now the 5-on-4 power play. Chased down by Tony Amati. Chicago with a 1-man advantage, and the hitting continues to pick up. Torchia covers that one up. Let's check in with John Saunders. John?
This highlight brought to you by the new Dodge, the Wings and the Jets, and Gillen just throws it towards the net. Chris King with the loose change, and right now 2-1, the Jets with the lead.
That is a very good Winnipeg Jets team offensively. The trouble is they've not been able to stop anybody.
All right. Mike Torchia's last 2 outings, not what he did in the first 4 games. He allowed 7 goals his last 2 games, including 6 goals 2 nights ago in 2.5 periods. And the 4 tonight has allowed 10. And you know, for Chicago, there was 6 seconds to go on one of their penalties when they scored. That's why they still have the power play.
Poulan, nice pass. Amati couldn't get it on net. Suter dumps it around. Power play continuing with Chicago. Hatcher up and out of the zone. Suter knocked down. 2-on-1 the other way. Dean Evison was open at center. Couldn't get the puck to him. It'll be covered up by Donnelly. Donnelly saw Evison, tried to get it to him, but got dumped and ended up with a puck underneath him.
Gary Suter made a kind of a desperation attempt to drag him down, and I think he did get a piece of him. He didn't get called for the trip. Watch it here. Donnelly with a really good play here. Just muscled on the inside. Watch what Suter does. Oh, give me a piece of him. Yeah, he raked his stick down the leg and was able to get enough of Mike Donnelly. What a shot. What an addition to this team. And it's amazing that the Blackhawks, even without Jeremy Roenick, went 13 games without a win when you've got Eddie Belfour to start with, Suter, Steve Smith, Chelios, Bernie Nichols, Tony Amati, Joe Murphy. Wouldn't you think you'd win one? Well, that's what they thought, too, and that's why they were miserable during that streak.
They, of course, won their last outing to get out of that. The overtime victory over Tuesday and a 4-3 win. And now trying to make it 2 in a row. Eddie Belfour! Is it in? No. No light. No light. It did not cross the line. Break for Chicago.
Gary had rolled up his body after deflecting and fell down, I believe, against the post. Yeah, give the Stars some credit. They're pressuring here. There it is, rolled up. Oh, hit the post.
Clearly didn't cross the line, though.
No, it did not. There was a deflection. It hit Steve Smith and deflected up off of Eddie Belfour and through him. Well, that is a sign for the Blackhawks that things are turning for them. When shots like that find a way to stay out instead of finding a way to get in. And look at Eddie Belfour's record at home as opposed to the road. It has not happened for the Blackhawks at home, and that is something that Chicago as a city is not used to.
They are 8-10-3 here at home this year. And as we mentioned earlier, last losing season at home was 1958. They have won only one of their last 10 games here at home. They're 1-7-2 at home coming into this game. Cleared up near side, not out. Held in. Kennedy went back to get it in his own zone. It'll be taken in behind the net by Matvechuk. A 4-1 lead for Chicago over Dallas. And I'm going to backtrack publicly. Dallas is not officially in the playoffs yet. Period. Score here, 4-1 Blackhawks. The numbers at home this season for Chicago, 2 games below 500. 36 winning seasons at home consecutively for the Blackhawks, the longest streak running.
That is one of the most amazing numbers, I think, in sports. I mean, 36 years. Yeah, there were years where they missed the playoffs. I think that tells you just how important that old Chicago Stadium was to this team. One of the toughest buildings, easily the toughest building I ever had to come and play in, and I think just about every other player would say the same thing.
Michael Jordan says he doesn't feel like it's home yet. So if he's not at home there, neither is Chicago.
Here.
Anybody in Chicago. All right, back come the Blackhawks with a 4-1 lead in this game. They are out shooting Dallas 19-10. Oh, and Chicago's keeping the heat on here, up 4-1. Matvechuk in behind the net. Kravtsov got it up, tipped up in the air and wide by Jeff Shantz. Chance had the opportunity as Kravchuk set him up. Kravchuk takes the hit. Millen bounced off him. The jam up. Again, Millen, Kravchuk doing battle over there. Sergei Kravchuk and Millen now a little face washing each other. Puck roll. Kravchuk scores! And Millen knocked him down.
The coaching staff talked about Krasov this morning. They said he's a little guy, but boy, does he compete in tight spaces. And this is a tight space right along the boards. He beat Corey Millen off the boards and beat him to the front. And great work by Jeff Shantz here, number 11. He flat out beat Doug Smollett, and Krasov flat out beat Corey Millen. That's what happened there. That was man-to-man, nothing more, nothing less. And Bob Gainey's guys got beat.
Krasov is 12th of the year. He is a rookie. The first Hawks rookie to hit the 10-goal plateau since Jeremy Roenick did it back in 89-90. And there may be a penalty coming up to Millen after that goal. I'm not sure what this discussion's about, but Millen cross-checked Krasov after he had scored.
Yep. Don Koharski is explaining it to Captain Darian Hatcher. This is what it looked like from the overhead. There's Krivo dumping it in. And Millen pushing him over Torchia.
There is going to be a penalty, and Bob Gainey's got to be wondering, wait a minute, what is going on here? They got blown out 8-4 by St. Louis at home on Tuesday. Now they are losing 5-1, and we're not halfway through this game yet. His team's not quitting. Just that nothing's going right for them.
Now they're kind of falling apart defensively, Gary. Well, there's Krivo. That's why Corey Millen was upset. Well, he flashed him twice and then cross-checked him. And you know what? Krasov didn't feel one of them. When you score, you don't feel a thing except yahoo!
Well, there's no power play, but there is a penalty, so it must be a misconduct call here. They haven't made the announcement yet. What new? Hatcher drops it back near side to Matvichuk. There is a penalty, as you saw. Hatcher ended up in the penalty box. So we'll assume it's a 10-minute misconduct. Back out through center to Zezel. Zezel let it poke checked away. Blackhawks Bernie Nichols shot. Save made. Mike Torchia knocked it away. This is a tough call for Bob Gainey. We were talking about Darcy Walker. Boy, when you've stepped on a guy and taken him out and said publicly his season's unraveled, you're going to put him in here?
I don't know.
I don't either. I don't either. Joe Murphy comes the other way.
At the same time, if you're planning on staying with Mike Torchia as a backup in the playoffs, what are you going to do? Action elsewhere. John Saunders.
All right, guys, thank the Wings and the Jets. And as you know, the Jets trying to fight into the playoffs. The rebound, and Keith Tkachuk puts it in the net. Yes, he's back from the injury earlier in the game. The Jets lead the Wings 4-1. Gary and Bill.
Big game for Winnipeg, and you see why. With 35 points, only 2 behind San Jose for the last playoff spot.
And it's hard to tell what's going on with Detroit, Gary. Are they in cruise simply because they've had such a great season? Are they pacing themselves? They have allowed a bunch of goals for a team that turned into a great defensive team. All of a sudden, it's 5 goals against Los Angeles Kings, 4 goals against the Winnipeg Jets, and they're not scoring either.
Oh, I couldn't believe today looking. Detroit coming into tonight's play is the #1 defensive team in the league. Now, that's incredible. They went from 16th last year to 1st this year defensively.
They went from bottom 3rd every year. I mean, this is the first time in years I can remember that Detroit has a decent defensive team, and it's not only decent, #1. But they are allowing goals lately.
If you believe defense matters in the playoffs, the top teams defensively, in order, Detroit, Buffalo, New Jersey, Chicago, and Washington are your top 5 in the National Hockey League in not giving up goals. A 5-1 lead here for Chicago with 13:15 left to go in the second period. Eddie Belfour cleared it up near side. Savard starts it out. Savard ahead to Craven. Amati's with them. Shot by Craven. Torchia cleared it away. Torchia may be thinking, I got a feeling I'm going to stay in no matter what happens here. Deflected in the corner by Ludwig. Molick and Ludwig. Molick cleared it up. Shane Churl is out there. Dropped in the middle of Adams. We haven't heard much from Greg Adams. Adams moves it in. Tough year for a good hockey player, Greg Adams. Came over from Vancouver, but Adams has struggled with the flu all year. And that has really shut his offense down. Down the middle, backhand shot. Torchia makes the save. Great play on Suter. Gary Suter came cruising down the left lane and was wide open all the way in on the goaltender. Here comes Matvechuk the other way. Garza moves on him. Shot wide by Matvechuk. Gagne. Gagne centered. 2D back. Sutter moving. Sutter. Torchia went right through his legs and wide. Derek Graham over to get it. That got through the wickets, but went wide of the net. Near side, Dallas coming back to get it. Dallas needs to find a boost. Maybe this will be it. Garza gets called for a high sticking, and the Blackhawks are going to be short-handed when we come back. Right across the street from the new United Center, built in 1929. That's all that's left of Chicago Stadium. Dismantlement is indeed the word.
Gosh, my jaw was just hanging open when I drove up today and saw it looking like that. It's sad.
It is sad.
It really is sad.
Great memories when you played and went there to watch games, too, because it was such a... The volume of noise in that place was unbelievable.
It was.
I will say, though, the volume of noise here is far better than what I'd heard it was going to be there. They keep the roof going here pretty good.
Yeah, they sure do. You know, I flew with a guy a number of months ago that came here to quote on some of the acoustics, and he was the wrong kind of company because his company keeps the noise level down. He told me that the people and the architects finally went with a company that created acoustics to get it up.
Millen, shot saved by Belfour. Corey Millen. 5-1 lead for the Blackhawks. Great chance there for the Stars, but Corey Millen unable to put it home. Dallas trying to get it back, intercepted. Chance, shot, save. Torchia got the shoulder up on that one. Chance again. Chance around. Hatcher can't catch him. Chelios saved by Torchia with a glove. And the 23-year-old kid is right now preventing a total rupturing of Dallas.
Yeah, good for him. He got beat with a long one that he should have stopped. The Blackhawks have really stepped it up a notch. And, you know, in the large picture of thinking about a kid's career, Bob Gainey left him in, and he has responded. Boy, I'll tell you. Watch this, real speed. Oh. And super slow. Chelios got it all. I mean, that's all Chelios has in the gun right there.
You can't wind up any further than that. Right behind the left ear, Torchia. He was 6th in the International League in goals against and 7th in save percentage. He was playing for the minor league team. He went 19-14-3. Brought back out by Dallas. They've got 11:05 to go in the second. Plenty of time in this game if they can find a way to get a couple by Eddie Belfour. They need some shots. They're being outshot 26-11 by Chicago. Down low, Smith cleared it around. And the Stars of Dallas have not been heard from in this game. Gagne in particular. They've rarely touched the puck.
Well, Todd Harvey is trying to stir things up. Number 10. Remember, he's the guy that fought Steve Smith in the first period. Here he goes again. He's after Chelios.
They're chatting.
Harvey went in and tried to hit 3 guys. He missed 3 times, but he took a run at Chelios, then he took a run at Smith.
Harvey remembers a rookie out there. Hatcher brought it in. Gagne dropped it off Smith, and Harvey runs into Smith again. There's Harvey with the puck. Harvey turning back to the middle, got open. Harvey, I think he's out of legs right now. Back to Hatcher. He tripped Chelios as he went by him. Harvey did, away from the play. Shot Matvechuk, saved Belfour, and cleared by Chris Chelios. 10 seconds left on the power play for the Stars.
And Harvey went all the way to the bench. You know, he was looking over his shoulder at Chris Chelios, just trying to stare him down.
And that'll do it. Blackhawks have killed it off. Garza comes back out. Intercepted down low. Hatcher shot blocked by Sutter. And he controlled the puck. Good play by Sutter. Smolik on the far side. Daze puts him up over the bench. Another collision at the other end. Everybody separating, though. A whistle on the offside two-line pass. Eric Weinrich involved in that last hit for Chicago as he was going after Gord Donnelly. Our Visa storyline here in Chicago. Savard's got 2 points in the game. Chicago's first 5-goal game since March 26, 14 games ago. And Hatcher, as we told you, is getting it going.
And we only have 5 seconds of replay sponsored by Visa because that's how long it took the Hawks to score. Bing! At the start of this second period, Joe Murphy, 5 seconds in, scored on Mike Torchia.
That is not a Chicago record. Dennis Savard scored one when he was playing for Chicago the first time around in 4 seconds against Hartford in 1986. That's the record for Chicago for the start of the third period. Sent back around the near side board. Smolik got pinned up. Shot deflected wide, not on net. Rima Kravtsov's got it. Rima Kravtsov drops it off. Right up through center ice, and Gerald Diddick sends it in. Back to get it. Smolik. Smolik just avoided the hit by Cummins, and here we go.
Oh, man.
Jim Cummins may have avoided the hit, but he ends up in the brawl as he and Smolik.
And Cummins dropped his gloves immediately, and so did Smolik. I mean, these guys, the tough guys like Smolik and Cummins, have been on ready alert since this game began. Now, I'll tell you something. The last shift, remember we showed you Weinrich in a big collision? Oh, man, are they going at it. Smolik is cut. Weinrich was hit by Gord Donnelly. Donnelly's a tough guy for Dallas. And Darryl Sutter countered this shift with Jim Cummins. Looked like Smolik might have landed one there at the end. So they're kind of playing chess with their tough guys.
Be interesting to see if Smolik gets an extra for that shot after the linesman had moved in.
Well, Cummins, I think, got the jump on him. I may be wrong, but Cummins looked like he was all set to drop his gloves. And here's how it started. Cummins taking Smolik to the boards, and then Smolik. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, Gary, this is exactly the scenario where things can get out of hand. You have a team with a potential dangerous or explosive situation. One team gets the bigger lead. And you can tell just by watching things on the ice away from the fights. The look that Harvey gave Chelios coming off, as Bill mentioned. Harvey thought he was going off for a knee or a check just before that. And everybody's giving the extra stare, the extra glare. It's down to that time of the year. By the end of this one, guys that aren't even usually involved in throwing hands, if you will, are going to be throwing them.
Yeah, oh, that is where Doug Smolik, you know what, it was an even start, but Jim Cummins just dropped his gloves quicker. He dropped the gloves and threw one at Doug Smolik before Smolik could react. Oh, baby. And that wasn't the first shot, was it? So he got hit twice in the same spot, right over the left eye.
Stars will get a power play out of this when we come back. Right now, here's John.
All right, the Blues and the Oilers. Edmonton also trying to fight their way in there. Shane Corson, shot tipped by Jason Arnott. Casey with the save, and Ken Sutton has the rebound. 1-0.
The Edmonton Oilers, some really fine young stars on that team, and boy, for Lowe and Ronnie Lowe, if their team could make the playoffs for their coach, what a boost that would be.
Couldn't
for him.
happen to a nicer guy. I played with Ronnie Lowe, and I will always respect him as one of the true nice guys and true dedicated athletes. He was a goalie in Washington when I played there the second year, and every game was 45 to 50 shots against.
Everybody likes Ronnie Lowe, and they're cheering for him to do well, unless you're in the battle for a playoff spot in the West. All right, Smolik 5 for fighting along with Cummins. Cummins gets the extra for the elbow. Power play underway. Dallas. Eddie Belfort knocked it away as Gagne tried to tip it in. Power play for the Stars. Hatcher fakes it. Big chance here for the Stars to try and cut into this 5-1 Chicago lead. Their third power play chance of the game. They've not converted on the first two. See if Dallas can get one here. Hatcher and Matt Tkachuk. Matt Tkachuk near side shot. Belfort had it knocked away with Gagne cutting back through the middle. For Dallas, they are 4 for 29 this year against Chicago. Belfort saw it, but it was wide anyway, and Hatcher has to chase it down to center. Back to Matt Tkachuk. Penalty killers changing up for Chicago. The Chicago penalty killers this season ranked 9th coming into today's play. All the way the other way to the rookie. Torchia just held it up there, and both teams will bring it over the boards. 56 remaining on the power play for Dallas. Dallas rushing. Greg Adams drops it. Here's Shane Churla. Every time he touches the puck, the Chicago fans go right after him. Adams couldn't knock it down behind the net. Comes near side. Golf shot up the boards. Not out. Matt Tkachuk holds it in. Wide side, Hatcher, the shot deflected. Belfour looking, covering, didn't. Tony Amonte picked it up as Churla tipped it, but not in. 27 remaining on the power play. Chicago again changes up on the penalty killers. Bernie Nichols comes out with Joe Murphy up front. Murphy knocked it away. Murphy couldn't control. Batted away through center. Good play by Diddick, offside on Dallas. National Hockey Night next Tuesday night. We will show you the game or games that matter most out of these three. If there are two that will affect the Stanley Cup playoffs, we'll have one game on ESPN and one game on the News next Tuesday. Check your local listings. The game that matters most, or games, are the ones you'll see. Then Saturday, May 6th, the Stanley Cup playoffs begin right here on ESPN, 7:30 Eastern. May 6th, the start of the Stanley Cup playoffs.
You said the game that matters most. If they all matter, we got a problem.
And they may. The way the numbers are going. Shot deflected. Murphy couldn't get it out. Ripped in wide by Hatcher. Dumped back into the corner. Donnelly. Power play over. Chicago's killed it off. Dallas still has the puck, though. Down low, Millen. He lost it. Adams back there gets dumped. He got tripped by Nichols. Cleared around wide side through the Kravtsov. Hatcher blocked it, but couldn't control it. Chicago back out. Nichols coming with Murphy. Murphy on the near side. Murphy in the corner. Getting the elbow from Greg Smith, but controlled the puck. Now Dallas gets it back, cleared out by Donnelly. Knocked down by Chelios and sent into the zone. Big explosion after Hatcher scored the first goal of this game for the Stars in the first period. Savard, Amonte, Murphy, Suter, and Kriva Kravtsov have all scored 5 unanswered goals for Chicago. Poulin looking for Craven. Craven tied up by Hatcher. Darian Hatcher had the stick in on him, wouldn't let him go. Poulin centering pass blocked. Corey Millen just wants to clear. He'll ice this one. They needed a line change, and that was the only way they were going to get it. Belfour did not touch it, and that'll get the whistle. 6:10 to go, second period. Chicago. Great to have you with us here on National Hockey Night.
If you're going to play for the Chicago Blackhawks, you've got to play a physical game. That's what that guy Patrick Poulin had to learn when he came here, and he ran into 220-pound Craig Ludwig and went down. But it was the effort that counted. That's all a coach can ask. That's all Daryl Sutter can ask. Look, you've got to finish your checks. Try to take the guy out.
Hits, lots of them, and pretty even. But 5-1 Chicago, and they're out shooting Dallas 26-13. They've got a problem with a glass down there as Don Koharski has called out some of the crew here. And he's saying, never mind, we'll play anyway. That's what did it.
Well, no wonder Ludwig didn't go down. He went against the glass. You know, that slow-mo replay didn't do justice to really how hard Poulin hit him.
All right, they'll continue to play. Face-off coming to the right of Mike Torchia. Waiting to see who's going to take it for Dallas. Peter Zezel will move in. Zezel on the face-off against Dennis Savard. And Zezel won that one. 2 outstanding veterans right there on the draw. Cleared around by Hatcher. Chelios and Gilchrist did battle. Intercepted by Savard off the boards. Got it in. Amonte dropped it off for Craven. Craven tied up. Broughton got a piece, deflected it away. Gilchrist can't handle a pass the other way. Zezel takes his man down. Chelios played by Suter. Suter's got Zezel on him. Zezel looking for a little help back there. Got it. Broughton moved in. Broughton couldn't control. Craven picks it up. Craven drops it off. Down the left wing side, Savard. Savard, Amonte, and Craven. Savard looking for Amonte. Bounced on him. Held onto far side. Tipped in by Steve Smith. All the way around on that one. Tony Amonte drops it off. And both teams making changes here as the play goes deeper into the Chicago zone. 5:18 to go in the second. Amani sends it in. And then we'll head to the bench. Matvichuk comes back to get it. This is Matvichuk, starts it up for the Stars. Matvichuk dropped it to Kennedy. Kennedy trying to move around, couldn't do it. Diddick stood him up. Good play by Diddick. Here's Sutter coming the other way in a 2-on-2. Darian Hatcher in front of him. The battle goes on there, and Hatcher wins it. Hatcher starts it out the other way to Kennedy. Kennedy moving in, got a pick. Kennedy centered right through the middle, and it was deflected wide near side. Good setup that time for Gagne, but the shot did not end up on Eddie Belfour, and Chicago will regain possession. Steve Smith starts it up. Smith for Chicago. 5-1 lead. Blackhawks on top. They got 3 goals in a matter of 5 minutes 39 seconds in this second period. And now Dallas looking for a way after having scored first to cut that margin down. Greg Adams. Adams dumped it in deep. Belfour goes back to get it. Near side, the battle stick. Churla got up pretty good on Amati. Amati centering pass blocked. Dean Ellison dropped it. Churla, Weinrich collide. Sent down low again. Churla hitting anything that moves out there. Dumped again. That's Churla, 27 in black. Comes to center. Matvichuk. Matvichuk off the near side boards. Churla served the 4-game suspension, then did not play on Tuesday. So it's his first game back since serving the suspension. They said he had a stomach muscle problem on Tuesday, with the reason he didn't play. Controlled again at center by Hatcher. Sends it in wide on Belfour. Holds it up behind the net. 3:37 left to go here in the second period. Dallas trying to shut it down in the zone, and they're able to do it that time. Mill into Donnelly. Donnelly with Amati all over him. Tried to pass, couldn't do it. Back to center. Dumped right back in by Matvichuk. And both teams complete line changes here as Belfour held it up in the corner. Cleared up by Smith out of the zone. Ludwig got it tipped away. Ludwig waiting for his teammates to get on side over to Klatt. Klatt's got some room. Klatt, Belfour went down, wraparound shot, couldn't get it in on net. Good try by Klatt, but he didn't get it directed.
And a good play by Greg Smith, number 3 for the Blackhawks. I think he's the guy that saved Eddie Belfour from a wraparound goal.
There will be an icing call there. Chicago leading by 4.
Their way back in this one. Paul Coffey to Fedorov in front. His 20th of the season. They're within 2, 4-2. Gary and Bill.
You see Detroit win, clinches that first spot. Detroit heavily favored in the West at this point as we look forward to the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Yeah, they're a lot tougher to play against than they have been in the past. You always knew Detroit had talent, tons of it, more than anybody. They were an easy team to play against. They were an easy team to shut down because they didn't know how to play D. Well, that has changed, and they got some ornery players now. They are not a treat to play against like they used to be.
It's taken by Hatcher, got knocked down. Picked up and brought out of the zone. Gary Suter. Suter tied up from behind by Zezel. Ulan knocked it away. Matvichuk back up the middle of Gilchrist. Gilchrist flips it in off the boards. Dallas trying to find one here. Centered, rolled wide. Couldn't get it back out in front for it. Donnelly centering pass. Matvichuk saved Belfour. Peter Zezel. Zezel centered. Tipped away to the corner by Chris Chelios. Matvichuk steps up to hold it in against Murphy, but it rolled to center. And Hatcher had to come back to get it. Stars clear of the zone. Gagne the other way. Their leading scorer with 14 goals and 28 assists. Dave Gagne. Bernie Nichols took the puck away. Nichols right in front of his own net to Chelios. Near side to Murphy, who's picked up a goal in this game. Murphy dumps it in as Kennedy got a piece of him. Matvichuk back for Dallas. Chicago changing it up, trying to catch him with it. Gagne pinned up against the boards. Got away. Diddick now gets knocked down by Smith. Chicago back. Here's a 3-on-2 break. The rookie on the left wing side. Garza center. Dirk Graham to center. Tipped away by Torchia. Graham back up to Smith. Smith. Shot save made as it's tipped away again. Mike Torchia being tested that time on the shot by Steve Smith.
Well, Eric Daze, the rookie, might have looked a little nervous his first couple of shifts, but did he ever make a play there one-handed on a 3-on-2. Perfect scoring chance that he set up.
Diddick put the hit on from behind and took Kennedy down. Dirk Graham with a puck. Dropped it back for Sutter. Comes to Diddick. Diddick wide side to Smith. His shot wide. Behind the net, Daze. That's the big rookie. Daze, 55 in white, his first NHL game here tonight. Daze drops it off. He's out there with Dirk Graham and Sutter right now. Sutter, as they circle with it, breaking down the middle. Craven, who just came on the ice. 1 minute left to go, second period. Chicago's Murray Craven. Murray Craven, the subject of about as much time before an arbitrator as anyone's ever had in sports. Finally was able to play here, coming to Chicago after they got that sub.
8.5 months. Tried to resolve that.
Can't go much longer than that. They were trying to figure out what his status was as far as where he stood in career games played as a player.
It was salary, though, Gary. He claimed that he was below the average salary, which made him a free agent after 10 years. And the Vancouver Canucks said, we don't agree with that average salary number. So that's what was resolved.
They went around and around to what the average salary was to figure out what that meant. And it gets pretty complicated when you start talking about bonuses and add-ons and that sort of thing.
Yep.
Dumped in the corner. Penalty coming up. Sticks in the air. That's the rookie, Todd Harvey, bending over for Dallas.
I think Chris Chelios might have gotten it. Chris Chelios was over there saying, hey, sorry, didn't mean it. Well, Don Koharski looks like he was, maybe it isn't Chelios, but Don Koharski looked like he motioned, 2 minutes. So the Blackhawks have dodged a bullet. You get him too hard and draw some blood, automatic 5, and the Stars get a chance to get back in.
7.6 seconds left in the second period. Our Molson Ice League leaderboard, Eddie Belfour, in this game, over the last 5 years, more wins than any other National Hockey League goaltender, 164. Wash, Shovelday, Mike Vernon, and Andy Moog of the Dallas Stars not playing because of the hamstring of the other 5. That's Belfour's career win number, 164, 106, and 40. His career numbers, and right now this season tied for third in wins with those 18.
And it has been hard to be a backup for Eddie Belfour here in Chicago. The people love him so much. Even Jimmy Waite, if he was losing at Chicago Stadium, Jimmy Waite, they'd chant Eddie, Eddie. And that's against one of their own players.
Our Dodge intermission report just a couple of seconds away. Matt Tkachuk can't knock it down, and we have completed 2. So Suter picked up the high sticking call in 1952 for the power play the Stars have, but a big second period for Chicago, and they lead it 5-1. John and Mike.
All right, Gary.
Guys,
that's good news for the Notre Dame program, and our congratulations to Dave as well. He's an alumni, of course, of Notre Dame, played college hockey there. Then they dropped the program along the way, and now they've started it back up again. And Dave Poulin's going to go and coach the Fighting Irish in hockey.
Still got some hockey to play for the Washington Caps, though, this year. That will be next year. He is going to retire over the offseason.
And here we go. Power play still underway for the Stars. 1:49 remaining on the Chicago penalty. So here's the chance for Dallas to get into this 5-1 lead that Chicago has, as they are on their 4th power play of the game, and they have not converted on the first 3. Corey Millen into the zone. Eddie Belfour in net for the Chicago Blackhawks. Belfour has given up just the 1 goal on the 14 shots by Dallas, while the Hawks have picked up their 5 on 28 shots. In behind the net, Smith battling. Chelios moves in. Dug out by Klatt. Trent Klatt centered right through the middle, trying to hit Donnelly. Hatch of the shot. Saved by Belfour. And Dirk Graham will take his time and get it out of there. Held on to behind the net. Still in here, the starter. Torchia, like Torchia for Dallas, has gone the distance. Donnelly drops it into the zone for Corey Millen. Millen sends it back behind the net. Shane Churla. Churla there along with Steve Smith. And out of the zone, Tony Amonte. Down to 45 seconds remaining on the power play. Back in behind the net, Matt Tkachuk will start it up. Dallas still with 36 on the power play. Greg Adams sends it into the zone. Adams, since coming over to this team, has picked up 3 goals, 2 assists, and this is 10th game. But he's been hotter of late, as he has a scoring streak, 2-2 in the last 4. And down on the ice goes Darian Hatcher. Sends it back. 17 left in the power play. Dallas. Joe Murphy steps up, took it away. Hatcher stole it back. Adams cutting through the middle. Couldn't get it to him. Dean Evason. Evason blue line on the fake. Shoots it wide. Thought he had Adams cutting. Adams over to get it. Drops it back off. Adams moving in. Adams to Evason. Tipped away. Eddie Belfour got the paddle down on that one. Back the other way. Murphy sends it up, and the penalty is over. 0 for 4 on the power play for Dallas. Chicago now at full strength. Point shot. Save made. Torchia rebound in front. Centered. Murphy shot. Torchia the save. Joe Murphy stuffing around the defenseman and used him for a screen. Nichols able to hold it in. Patrick Poulin behind the net. Poulin tied up by Hatcher. Lost the puck to Murphy. Poulin steps up again. Dean Evason takes it away. Dallas starts it back up, and they'll send it in and change.
Well, I'll tell you something. The Dallas Stars have had people in front of Eddie Belfour during this hockey game. They've driven the net pretty well. The coverage man-to-man by the Blackhawks has been sensational. There have been no people left open in front of Belfour to get a clean shot since this game began.
Dazzle around, but not out. Smith held it in on the far side, centered. Poulin tipped it wide. Patrick Poulin, who this season has picked up 12 goals, 15 assists. Coming into tonight's game, battle along the far side towards Savard. Savard, a multi-point game, 1-1. Brought back in by Amandi to Smith, whistle offside. Craven was already in the zone for the Blackhawks, who lead it by 4.
With the man around whom all the questions circle here at Chicago Stadium, Jeremy Roenick. Jeremy, it's confusing. We hear different status reports on your knee. Can you come back this year?
Well, I think it all depends on how my therapy goes. Right now, it's going a little slow, but if the Hawks go far and they play well in the playoffs, you know, anything can happen. I'm not ruling it out, but right now it's kind of skeptical.
We've also heard stories about you're in a contract, kind of uncertain here. If you had a new deal signed, would you be more likely to make a return? Does it make any difference?
Well, I think it would make a little difference. Obviously, you know, I don't want to come back and jeopardize my, my career, come back early and hurt myself even more. But again, it's. I think only time will tell, and hopefully this next week will determine what happens.
Was there a fracture or not? There's all different stories going on.
Yeah, there was a hairline fracture, and that is healed, and now it's more of a bruised bone. So that's really what has to heal, and I have a couple of torn muscles that have to heal, and hopefully that can come back quick.
This game here, you said publicly you didn't think there was much to it with Hatcher. Do you think there'll be a price to pay?
I think this period could get ugly. I think we're up 5-1. I wouldn't be surprised if some of our guys take a little liberty, but hopefully nobody gets hurt, and it's just a hard-fought hockey game.
How much pressure are you putting on yourself to come back for these playoffs? I mean, are you adamant in your mind if you can at all come back?
Well, obviously it's very important. I mean, if we have a good chance to win the Stanley Cup this year, it's one thing that I have to think about very seriously. I think it depends on how we do in the first round. I don't think I'll be able to play in the first round, and hopefully we get by that, and then there'll have to be some decisions made.
Are you distressed with management not getting you the new deal? I mean, LaFontaine making $4 million. Has that become a sore point?
You know, it is a sore point. It's something that is very frustrating at times, but you know, I'm confident that things will get done, and whether it be done soon or later, I can't answer that question. But in a way, I am frustrated, but in a way, frustrated in a way, I'm happy that the team is starting to play well.
All right, Jeremy, good luck. Good luck. We hope to see you later in the playoffs. Thanks, guys.
Nice job, Al. Jeremy Roenick was out of there.
Tell it like it is, JR.
Pretty honest.
Yep.
We told you earlier that contract dispute with Chicago. It's not that he's not going to come back, but he's not going to risk his career without a contract with the Blackhawks to come back too soon. That's just what he just said. A 5-1 lead for Chicago here, and you saw the hitting going on in the corner. That's what Jeremy Roenick was talking about, the chance for it to get ugly. Jeff Shantz will pick up the penalty here, a holding call, and that will give the Dallas Stars their 5th power play of the game. Our Bud Ice scoreboard with other games underway. The Oilers leading there. The Jets still in contention against the Red Wings, who, as Bill said, are struggling. They're gone, folks. Those teams are playing for the love of the game and just to get it done. Length of the ice.
And leave it to Ottawa to really crank it up. Ooh, now.
Yeah. Tampa Bay was on the road when they were officially eliminated, and that can get a little ugly. Dean Evason moving it in. Centering pass for Greg Adams, deflected over to the corner. Turned around by Sutter. Platt takes the hit from behind. Power play here for the Stars. Held on to by Hatcher. Greg Adams saved by Belfort. Greg Adams on his own rebound. Adams tried to swing it in. It was knocked away, and it's cleared out of the zone by Dirk Graham. Minute 14 remaining on the power play opportunity. Intercepted Joe Murphy. Torchia takes the hit from Murphy. Tried to get a penalty, didn't. He kind of knocked his head back a little, harder than he was hit probably. Murphy played it at center. Smith will come back to get it. The Dallas power play struggled here tonight. They are 19th in the league. It's been a long season for their specialty team. Penalty killing's been outstanding. Fourth best. Murphy short-handed, tried to get it around to Nichols. Here's Gagne, and Chelios stepped up and batted it away and made it look easy. Darian Hatcher rubbed out by Bernie Nichols. Crowd loves that.
You bet. And Bernie Nichols knew that he had Murray Craven standing on the boards, and all he had to do was push Hatcher into him. That's what he did.
Here comes Darian Hatcher. Lost that one. Good play by Savard, who interfered with him. Torchia at the other end with 18 seconds left to go on this Dallas power play. Kennedy brought it in on side. Dump pass, Poulin intercepted. Savard swings it out. Maybe one more chance up ice. Torchia at the other end hanging on. 30-16 the shots in favor of Chicago. Power play's over. 0 for 5 for Chicago on the power play tonight. For Dallas, rather. Shot by Gagne wide. Broughton on the far side. Tipped it behind the net. Gilchrist poked at it. Couldn't control it. Back comes Chance. Chance will bring it in offside. Couldn't control it at the blue line. 12:58 left to go. Third period. From Chicago, National Hockey Night, Blackhawks leading 5-1. United Center. Full house on hand here tonight in Chicago. And a lot to cheer about. They're Blackhawks leading by a score of 5-1 in this game. Looking to win 2 in a row for the first time this month. Suter couldn't hold it in. Zezel got it out. Gilchrist had it chipped away by Chelios. Back deeper into the zone. Chelios comes back to get it. Chelios the hit by Broughton. They go around the boards. Picked up by Gary Suter. Suter drops it off. Intercepted by Broughton again. Centered. Broughton tried to tip. Couldn't get it in on net. Patrick Poulin reaches in. Pickpockets that one away. Poulin coming up on the near side. He got pinned up by Zezel. Puck against the boards. Poulin knocked it away. But Suter came away with it. Wide side to Murphy. And back out of the zone. Craig Ludwig got it out. Both teams changing it up here. Zezel dumped it ahead. Nobody out to help out here. It was dumped in by Gilchrist. He had no other star out there with him. Back in Murphy. Murphy poke checks away from him to center by Kennedy. First goal of this game was scored by the Stars as Kevin Hatcher got it at 3:41 of the first. But since then, Dennis Savard, Tony Amonte, Joe Murphy, Gary Suter, and Sergei Krivokovsov have scored for Chicago. The 5 unanswered goals. Tony Amonte around. Back to the point, Hatcher. Kevin Hatcher shot through a screen. Nice play by Belfort. Gagne held on to in front of the net. Changes in Los Angeles. El Morganti.
That's right, Gary. Since last we met, I guess, change in Los Angeles, firing of a coach. Who's going to be the next coach in L.A.? Well, names I hear, believe it or not, Pat Burns out of Toronto, and maybe even John Muckler out of Buffalo if the Sabres don't do well or even make the playoffs. Now, with Pat Burns, I would assume that would only be a coaching job because he's not the type that would want these. He likes his summers off. Pat Burns likes his time off. He may just want the coaching job there. Muckler, of course, close to Wayne Gretzky. I think whoever takes it, they'd want an ownership change in L.A. where they're really having some financial problems. Also, the Winnipeg Jets, everybody assuming because the party that won was supposed to be favorable toward the Jets staying in Winnipeg. Don't bet on it. The Jets still may move, except not Minnesota. Could be Atlanta. They want a commitment that they'll absorb some losses up there in Manitoba. I don't think they're going to get it.
Yeah, I was talking about the party that won. The Progressive Conservatives won the control of the province of Manitoba. So that is who the Winnipeg Jets are negotiating with, really, to help them with any losses they incur. It doesn't look good. I think Winnipeg's going to end up moving.
And Quebec very much on the block with Denver. Their communications empire there is ready to take that team and bring it into Denver. Ribakhovsov dumped it into the zone. Connie Amani back to get it. Other thing, Bill and Al, is that in L.A., the ownership situation is very ill-defined at this point. Very tough to say who's going to end up in any positions, coaching or administrative, until that's done.
Yeah, no question.
They really don't know, and I still think Wayne Gretzky is going to come out of this with a partial ownership of that team before all is said and done. Matt Tkachuk going back to get it. They wave off the icing. 4 minutes, 40 seconds left to go. Mercifully did not blow the whistle. Trent Platt comes to the red line, deflected off the near side board. Smith comes back to get it.
That's not a nice thing to say when Al has gotten on camera more than any other time in the year.
Well, no, I was right the first time. 4:23 left to go. On the near side. It's at center. Suter back on D. Platt dumps it. Greg Adams in. Adams knocked away by Eddie Belfour, and the shot went wide on the empty net. Belfour was down, but Dean Evison could not get an angle to put it home. And it's cleared, and they wave it off again. There'll be no more icings in this game. 4 minutes left to go. The rookie, Daze. Daze centered. That Graham tipped it wide. Remember shinny hockey that you used to play? Yep. Here's Dean Evison. Greg Adams tried to handle that one. Eddie Belfour. Belfour up on the near side. Darian Hatcher held it in. Hatcher sends it behind the net. Chelios tipped it, rolls to Belfour, and Eddie Belfour will cover. Blackhawks leading at 5-1.
Blues and the Oilers in St. Louis getting on the board. Creighton poking at the loose puck in front. Ranford comes up with a save, comes back to Steve Duchesne, and he finds the opening. 2-1.
There you see, John, and everybody, the Edmonton Oilers, 36 points. For a minute, look at the win column. The first tiebreaker, if a team ends up tied in points, the first tiebreaker is wins. Look at Los Angeles. 14 wins. San Jose was 17. L.A., if they're going to get in, they've got to do it by winning games. Ties are not going to be sufficient for Los Angeles.
It's got to be on points. It's got to be on points. And the LA Kings have had so many ties this year that's why they're behind in the wins column. So number one is points. LA has to go for points because the number two tiebreaker, and points really isn't a tiebreaker, but I don't consider it that. Whoever has the most points goes right to win.
So goes right down to the final week that we are in with the Stanley Cup playoffs beginning a week from Saturday on the 6th. We, of course, will have them for you right here on ESPN starting next week from Saturday, May 6th. 7:30 Eastern time, the beginning of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Broughton chasing it down into the corner, chipped away Weinrich. In front, Gilchrist, batted in Belfour, and he hangs on. Eddie Belfour covering. 3:07 left to go here in the third. Chicago's going to the Stanley Cup playoffs. Dallas has not yet officially qualified.
No, Andy Moog said it best. They knew that they had to win one game on this last road trip. You know, the reason that I kind of jumped the gun on Dallas is they had just finished a 6-game homestand. The first 5 games of that homestand, they went undefeated, 3-0-2. Then we saw them get bombed by St. Louis the other night. And here they are losing 5-1 here. But, I mean, they came off a pretty good winning streak. Here's what's left for the Dallas Stars.
And Detroit Saturday, Bill, should be a very angry team. They're losing to Winnipeg tonight, 8-2. Al?
Is that Al?
Is that Al?
No.
That's our Al voodoo doll.
What was that? Played around the board. Smith blocked by Kennedy. Got to get Al up here. Save made on Matvechuk's shot. Belfour knocked it away. Dallas starting to get some shots now, but they are not good scoring chances. Kevin Hatcher back at center, sends it in along the boards. A few milestones reached tonight. Savard's got his 450th goal. Chelios' 600th point. Tony Amati his 100th goal in this 5-1 Chicago lead. And Eddie Belfour looking to pick up the win. This is his 11th consecutive start in net.
So weird the way the goals have come in this game. The Chicago Blackhawks went down 1-0, then scored 2 in 12 seconds. And in the start of the second period, Joe Murphy scored 5 seconds into the second period. That's a Hawks record. No, it's not a Hawks record, is it? Denny Savard has the record, 4 seconds, which is part of the NHL record. That is as fast as anybody has ever scored a goal at the beginning of a period, 4 seconds.
Can't do it much quicker than that.
But you got to step out of the face-off dot with the puck behind the guy you're facing off with and drill one.
Yep. That's just what Murphy did. He got to the blue line and gunned it in. Eddie Belfour holds it up behind the net. 1:46 left to go here in the third period. And it's played out by Suter. Ahead for Chance. Lost it to Donnelly. Donnelly back to Klatt. I don't want to speak too soon, but to this point, the teams have pretty much controlled themselves in the third period, whereas Jeremy Roenick said it could have really gotten out of hand.
Well, I'm watching. Jim Cummins is out there now. Gord Donnelly's had a couple of shifts, and those are the guys.
Krivakrovsov tried to draw it between the legs, couldn't do it. Picked up by Klatt. Klatt sends it out. Donnelly did not touch it, and an icing call. Eddie Belfour did not touch it either, so they'll get the whistle. Well, America's Cup 95 finals begin on ESPN Saturday, May 6th at 4 Eastern and 1 o'clock Pacific. From San Diego, the Stars and Stripes, Dennis Corner. They're back in the finals. Jim Kelly, Gary Jobson, and Peter Isler will bring you the America's Cup Finals May 6th.
Amazing stuff.
If they don't win it, they'll just do it again. 1:07 remaining to go here in the third period. Face-off will come to the left side. Tipped away to center. Greg Adams.
1 minute to play in the third period.
Weinrich coming back to get it. Matvichuk. Final minute of this game. Played back up for Dean Evison. Picked up by Shane Churla, who is out there. There's Churla. Sends it in wide of Eddie Belfour. And just dump it out of the zone. So the Chicago Blackhawks will go 21-19-5. And for Dallas, struggling to get back to 500, they'll be 17-21-8. That's the way it's been for Dallas all year. They get to within a couple of games of 500 and don't make it. Weinrich had it blocked. Churla gives Weinrich a shove. 19 seconds left. Hatcher. And the fans at the United Center cheering Chicago. They lead it 5-1.
Eddie Belfour was good when he had to be, but he got some terrific protection for most of this game from his great big D-man in front. Tough night for this kid, but he'll be back.
Chicago's cut those shots.